Alright, so before we get into the part where, Ainz and Anos fight, I really want to go over their abilities and all their items they can utilize. And first off, we're gonna be explaining Ainz. Just some context over the world of Yggdrasil. The maximum amount of spells a level 100 player could learn was 300. However, Ainz had a special ability, Dark Wisdom, that allowed them to learn and memorize 700 different spells. Even those spells he had not learned could still become a weapon to read his opponent's strengths once Ainz knew of them. As part of Ainz Ulgon, he was easily ranked in the top 5 amongst his guilds when it came to his magical knowledge, according to the Overlord Maruyama fandom.com. I'll leave a link in the description because it does explain a lot of Ainz's spells and his resistances and such, as I will go over later. And why is this important? You might ask. It is really important on Ainz's personal firepower and how many of these spells could be really used against Anos. Spells like Falling Down and the goal of all life is death would be... and I'm sorry to all you Anos fans out there, but they would like close to one-shotting him. If not actually one-shotting him. But in character, I don't see Ainz really doing that. I find him like using more stuff to weaken him first, as I will explain later. But Anos wouldn't be able to use his resurrection magic, considering it only works when he takes a blow from an attack he's already taken in the past, as he is shown for whenever he died by the hero's hands, like Lei. And you may say that that Falling Down takes a long time to cast, but he does have items that let him use the spell without the cast time, if that makes sense. He can cast it instantly. They cache swap items, I think. That's what they were called. Not to mention all of Ainz's resistance. Well, if you want to know his resistance, I will link them in the description if you really want to know all of that. And none of his spells get, there is a lot of them, and I want to make this video not that long. Because there is a lot based on his undead racial class skills and his Overlord class. And you may say, not for Anos. Really, Anos is really powerful in his own right. He was able to destroy an entire lake with one spell without breaking a sweat, and also defeat the literal god of time in every royal in the capital. Granted, the royals aren't that strong. If I were to rank them at a glance, I would say at most they'd be as strong as Evil Eye or the Pleiades. At most. Really. I know some people might say, like, oh, they're not as strong as them. I was like, at most, like, wanking them up, per se. The only real threat I see Anos giving Ainz is his sword that destroys all creation. None of his spells could probably hit Ainz, but considering he can use spells like the Greater Teleportation, as we saw in his fight against Shoutir, Ainz has much more variety in attacks than Anos does. And I wouldn't think that would give him the win automatically, obviously. Considering, but like I said before, the goal of all life is death and Falling Down are basically, like, they can't really miss. Because Ainz gets in their face to use it. But considering he can use Greater Teleportation, I think that would be really easy for him to dodge Anos' sword and be able to use that. Though it is said that Anos cannot use his sword of destruction outside his own castle. But he did use it against the God of Time, so I don't know if that was true or not. But if Anos could say, we could say that he could use his sword. If he started out with his sword right off the bat in the fight, I could see Anos maybe taking the win. But Ainz, his greater versatility of spells that can basically just destroy Anos. Although I do see Ainz winning him first with things like Reality Slash, 1,000 Bone Lands, Black Hole, Gravity Maelstrom. Those are all really powerful spells that he used in his fight against Shoutir. The only reason Shelter really didn't get hit by most of those is because she had greater teleportation, like I said before, which can be used in combat, unlike Ainz, who uses his teleportation based off of transportation, and I don't think he can actually use that in actual combat, so... Yeah, I just don't see Ainz taking this fight. I mean, Ainz can literally cancel his resurrection by using stuff like True Death. Although I don't know if his resurrection would be more powerful than that. It'd be a debate on his strongest death magic spell that nullifies resurrection magic. But other than that, I just don't see Ainz taking this fight. I mean, Ainz is just too powerful. He was made OP for a reason. He's the leader of the guild that had some of the most OP players in the game. Like, nobody got past like the first floor, and Nazarick. You want to know why? Ainz was always there to defend it, and he's basically one of the most powerful people in the guild. Although there is like, Shelter is actually stronger than Ainz, like one-on-one. But Ainz did defeat her one-on-one still, because Shelter was cocky and all that. But it's really impressive that he defeated Shelter, because Shelter is basically the god of 1v1s. And besides that, I think that's enough said before on Ainz versus Ainz. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm Regulus Toxicus. See you next time.